That's where the roots were. That's where they came from. They are signing up to some of the most draconian measures ever introduced in this country. And they're not blinking.
Dictatorship.
I don't understand it. How in God's name can they do it with a straight face? That's not the campaign they stood on. When they went for you for your votes, did they tell you to do this? Because I don't think so. But listen, there's not going to be another election for 4 years. So, I mean, you might say, well, we'll throw them out when the election comes around. That's too far away. You have lives to live. You have lives to live in the meantime. What are you supposed to do in the meantime? The only way that you are going to change the way things are and the way things are being done is you have to develop your own voice. And I'm not telling you to go out on the streets and turn the cars over and burn them. I'm telling you to speak up for yourselves. I'm telling you that you should organise yourselves in your communities, and you need to develop that voice and stop letting these people treat you unfairly. There was so much talk about change before the last election. Oh, this is the time of change, right? There is not a shred of appetite for real change in the present government. Not a shred of appetite for it. They do not want to change because they like it the way it is, as it suits them fine. Now, I'm probably going off on a bit of a tangent, right? But I was trying to go through a list there, on a few items. Now, like for example, I mean, someone told me there was an issue raised on Southeast Radio today, which Seamus also alluded to, about the €5, that people have been charged €5 to come in here. Now, I mean, that's obviously rubbish, right? I think most of these got in without paying.
You might get out without paying.
Don't mind him. You can go without paying as well. But just to give you an example, that newsletter that's gone out there, that's actually cost €10,000 to print, right? And all the different handouts and stickers and whatever, right? I mean, it all costs money, and you know, it's the notion that €5 is a sort of a con job is a bit unfair now, in fairness. And I don't think it will not cover. It doesn't cover the costs of the campaign at all, and the campaign are going to have to get sponsorship of sorts in other directions. The €5 will go some way towards it, and as Seamus said, there is going to be a legal team set up. Now, it would be unfair to say that, I'm not saying that this legal team is going to take care of every legal issue and everyone's legal problem if things get mad, but there will be support for people that have to go to the courts. But if I said to you, oh, grand, just don't pay that €100, you'll never get into trouble, you'll be grand. Well, no, that would be false of me. I don't know just how much trouble the people who I mean, I'm not going to pay. I don't know how much trouble I'm going to get into. But I mean, yeah, well, you might say that I'm used to being in trouble, but I mean, I just hope you're not on buying the Irish Independent still. Because the Irish Independent won't be happy till I leave the country. And I'm not going. For not being on football in Italy. But anyways, I mean, listen, people will have to be strong. If you want this country to be a better place for your kids to grow up in, you're going to have your say. Well, Michael Noonan says they're all gone on holidays. But I mean, listen, it isn't going to be easy, and how many people will refuse to pay, I have no idea. And now I do think the figure is bigger than I did at the start, because I'm amazed at the amount of anger that's out there, and the amount of people that are going to the meetings. It's really amazing, it really is, given that there isn't a tradition of protest here. But it just goes to show how far the people have been driven this time around. I think they've just gone that bit too far. And the trouble with the household charge is that it's a thin end of a very fat wedge, and there's more coming. And as you know, the household charge will be, on average, next year, I would imagine, my guess would be, I would say, a conservative figure would be €400. It may be higher, but it will probably gradually get higher. But I would imagine, my guess would be 400 next year. But your water is going to be another charge that's going to be pretty serious. Now, if we had the lovely local services that you do have in Europe, then maybe we could deal with the water charge, because we'd see our money coming back to us. I know a village in Italy where they do pay the house tax and they pay for our water. But the same body that collect the money, the local comune, they invest in the local schools, they invest in local health facilities, they invest in numerous community ventures that we can only dream about here. They invest in sports facilities. And I made the point on South East Radio last week that, just for a comparison, I remember going over to Italy one time to look at one of these tunnels that you have to use. The FBI told me that I had to, in order to have a League of Ireland club, I had to have one of these tunnels from the dressing room to the pitch, in case the fireworks hit the players coming out. And it wasn't going to happen out in Ferrycarrig. But anyway, it was just in the rules, right? Because obviously in Italy they need them, where there's so many thousands at the match or whatever. But we were told that we're going to have to get one of these in Ferrycarrig as well. So I went to look at one in Italy. And I went to a football club where the oldest team was 16. So it went from under sixes up to under 16. And I could just see there was right down the length of the pitch, and it was the length of the pitch, right, 100 metres, and it was a brand new stand. All the ground floor was dressing rooms and a gym and other facilities, and upstairs then was the stand. And I said to him, God, I said, that looks great. I said, how much does that cost? And he says, oh God, I have no idea. He says, the comune paid for that. And I was just thinking about my own situation at home in Ferrycarrig and the Wexford Council. And I applied 6 times to get planning permission for the lights and 4 times for the stand. I didn't get 1 penny from the council, from the government, or from the FAI to build the place. And I got nothing, only a hassle from the council. Absolutely no help whatsoever, but hassle. And I'm not exaggerating when I say I had to get so many reports, and because of the delays and the cost of money, it cost me over 200,000 because of the way they delayed me. Because prices were going up the whole time. And we were living in a mad period. Instead of looking to help me, they were looking to hamper me. Right? So in Ireland, we don't have real local government. And when they give us real local government, we'll give them local charges. We'll pay for our house when it's fair to pay for it. Now, if you've already paid your house tax through your stamp duty, you shouldn't have to pay for it until the stamp duty money runs out. And if you're paying $1,000 a year, I think you're safe for 25 years. And you should never have to pay for it. Now, if you buy a new house tomorrow and you don't pay stamp duty on it, then I think that should become vulnerable for property tax when we have services. In Ireland, local authorities have 20% spend of the average local authority in Europe. They have no power, no money, no organisation. You do not get the services and support that you need from our local authorities. Now, I'm not saying it's the fault of the people down in the county hall. They just don't have the money anyway. But the whole structure is wrong, and we need to change it. Now, whether this government is going to do anything about changing it remains to be seen. They talked a lot about it before the election, but I don't see it coming down the tracks just yet. I don't know whether they're going to change it at all. But we need local government. At the moment in this country, everything is centralised. All your decisions are made in Dublin. and it's getting more centralised every goddamn year. There was a time when the local authority had an impact on health.